Good morning, Wake and Takers. How are we doing? Back again live Tuesday, July 29th. Coming back to you with a ton of camp news. These Tuesday episodes for the next week or so or week or two are going to just be very much heavy news because from Thursday to Tuesday, there's just so much going on. It's almost impossible to work anything else in other than the news and the impact of the news. So just going to be running with that and kind of giving my personal takes on how the different clips, how the different injury news, all the little things that keep popping up from camp on X and wherever else you're getting your NFL news from, what they really are going to mean for your fantasy drafts here as they approach at the. I mean, I'm sure people are already starting their home redraft leagues up from now until all the way up until week 1 here. So really just looking to give you the key points, as there is a lot, and I like to keep these nice and short and concise. So not really going to be doing a crazy amount of my own topics here on the Tuesday show. That's going to be more for the Thursday shows moving forward. But thank you for joining me here today. Excited to be back once again. I see Jamie and Alex in the chat. Good morning, guys. Good morning. How are you? Hope you got your coffee. We got a lot going on. So let's go ahead and just, before we jump into it, I just want to remind everyone, follow the Player Profiler Now page. We got a ton of content pumping out every single day between Dynasty, Redraft, all sorts of news coming out every single day. So if you really want to stay up to date with everything on a daily basis, follow the Player Profiler Now channel here on YouTube. Follow it on X. Follow me at jowens_ff on X. I'm trying my best to keep up there as well. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump right into the news. Going to be going over some of the injuries updates and some new names here finally that we get to talk about. It's not just going to be George Kittle and Travis Kelce today, I promise. First up is going to be Luther Burden is actually back on the practice field. He had been dealing with a hamstring injury even before the draft. Really, it came out that he'd been dealing with it. So it's good to see him out there. He is someone that a lot of people were very, very excited about before the draft, and then he kept sliding and went to a very crowded passing game in the Bears right now. So he was anticipated to be good, slid, and went into a murky situation. So it's kind of been stuck in purgatory here for fantasy football purposes, especially in 2025. But with him back out there, it breathes some life into his dynasty value, which is exciting. He's still not someone that I'm looking to take a shot on in 2025. I got a lot more different targets out there that I'm looking for. And right now, I still think that the pecking order in Chicago is going to be DJ Moore well ahead of everybody else. And then I think Rome Odunze is going to be a clear 2. And then the rest is going to be Komet and Loveland, I think, are going to get their fair share. And then so what is truly left for Luther Burden the third here? And it's not someone that I'm taking a shot on. I don't think the upside is quite there yet until he flashes. So in Dynasty, if he starts to disappoint, he is definitely someone that I would love to go for and sneak him in a deal, or just go straight up if someone's disappointed in where they got him and just want to cut bait and grab a 2026 pick. I got no problem making a deal for that mid-season. Another staying in the NFC North, we got Justin Jefferson. He's dealing with a mild hamstring injury himself now. Left practice early, which is never a good thing, but it's still July, so I'm not overly concerned. I'm not hitting the full-blown panic button. We're still waiting on more details to come out on what the extent of the injury is. They're obviously going to play it safe with him. He is the best wide receiver in the league right now. They're not going to rush him back no matter what in July or August. So just going to be keeping an eye out for any news dropping on that. It does make me nervous about JJ McCarthy in general, because his offense right now is not looking like it's very stable. There's this concern about Justin Jefferson where he's missing valuable reps with the new quarterback right now. We know Jordan Addison is still potentially looking at a 3-game suspension from his wet reckless conviction. So it's something where the offense isn't really flat for him right now. It's not really something where he's able to build a rhythm. I still think if this pushes JJ McCarthy's ADP down even further, I'm still more than happy to take the shot on him, just because I think he's got some sneaky rushing upside, even with coming back from the knee injury. And if Justin Jefferson is perfectly fine, plays 17 games, it doesn't even matter right now, this fear. So it's something where I'm hesitant to go invest heavily in the Vikings, but it's not going to fully scare me off of Justin Jefferson quite yet. He's still a first-round pick in fantasy football drafts. He's still someone that I'm comfortable taking, but he's just not someone that I'm going to, like before it would be like Jefferson or Lamb. That's a pretty good conversation. With this injury risk right now and the fact that Lamb doesn't have a hamstring injury in July, it makes me more confident to keep Lamb up above Jefferson right now, even though I fully believe the Justin Jefferson ceiling is still wide receiver 1, much higher than CeeDee Lamb's is right now. It's just that it's my first round pick. I'm not looking to go the full risky route there when there's still a guy like Lamb available. Someone that I do think I think everyone's going to be jumping if Jefferson does miss any time. Everyone's going to be jumping to push Hawk up higher, which he should be. Obviously, if Jefferson misses time, Hawk becomes a very important target for JJ McCarthy. Again, especially if Addison does get suspended for the first 3 games of the season. So I think Hawk is who people are going to really start hyping up if this injury doesn't look good heading towards the season. But who I'm really kind of looking at is going to be Aaron Jones. It looks like Minnesota wants to go back to having him be more of a complementary type back like he was in Green Bay, where he is able to work more in the passing game, work more in space, and they can have Jordan Mason be the grinder going up the gut for the 2-3 yards when they need it on like a 3rd and 3 or 3rd and 2, something like that. So Aaron Jones is really someone that I think is a big, not a winner, but like someone that if Justin Jefferson misses time or this injury does seem worse than we're hearing now, Aaron Jones is someone that I will be pushing up my personal rankings and my board. I will be all over that because the upside is great there. And with a quarterback with little experience in the NFL, he's going to be looking for his dependable receiving outlets, and that's going to be Aaron Jones out of the backfield, even if Jefferson's on the field. Got a couple other updates coming at you here. Justin Fields, I went all doom and gloom at on the Thursday episode where it was a full panic where carted off the field, lower body injury, 0 details, and then as soon as the stream ends, it comes out, oh, he dislocated a toe. Everything seems to be okay. He was back out there on Monday for 11 on 11 drills. He's still not out there full bore. So something to keep an eye on to make sure that he's fine, to make sure that the mobility is still there, because that's the bulk of the Justin Fields excitement in fantasy football, is the fact that he just has crazy rushing upside there. Obviously, he's still got Garrett Wilson. He's still got the passing, but just want to keep an eye on that toe as camp progresses and make sure that he is ramping back up to be ready to go full 100% for the start of the season. So yeah, doom and gloom be gone. The Jets are on. We're back. Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, Braylon Allen, Justin Fields. I'm still all in on all of those guys right now. Happy I see you like the whole Minnesota backfield at cost. I got to agree with you there. It's just they seem like they're both suppressing each other's ADP, Mason and Jones, and I feel like they both are going to be able to serve well at that ADP in terms of just delivering fantasy points. Mason most likely going to be touchdown dependent, in my opinion. But if the Vikings are able to still put out a good offense, which they always have, even with backup quarterbacks. They've been able to put up points. They've been able to keep the ball moving just with their weapons. So I have to agree with you that I like both. I like both Jordan Mason and Aaron Jones at their current ADPs, and I think whichever one of them you grab, I like Aaron Jones more. I think the upside's greater there in terms of just he could be the 3-down back given the opportunity. Whereas I think if Jordan Mason will consistently be the first and second down grinder and the red zone or the goal line type back. But if anything were to happen with an Aaron Jones injury or anything like that, I think that there's other pieces that they're going to work into the backfield as the third down 2-minute warning type back. So I just don't think that Mason quite has the upside that Jones does, but still like them both there. Moving on to another backfield that is kind of looking a little bit murky now. We're getting some ambiguity because we just don't know what's going on, is the Houston Texans. Joe Mixon. We're not getting a whole lot of news, and obviously the team doesn't have to give us news as training camp. So we're kind of in the dark here, just waiting and seeing. All we can do is work with what we're told, and what we're told right now is Joe Mixon is still looking to miss multiple weeks of camp. They're hoping to have him back for week 1. That doesn't make me feel confident at all. He is pretty much completely gone off of my draft list. I don't, unless he slips a crazy 2-3 rounds, full 3 rounds, I would say, I'm just not comfortable taking Joe Mixon. He dealt with the ankle injury last season. He came back and he was on an absolute tear, running back 1 type season before the ankle injury, and then all of a sudden he comes back. Obviously, it's tough to come back from an ankle sprain, but then to come in the offseason, he's wearing a walking boot in April, May timeframe. He's wearing a walking boot that we are told is where we expected to be a part of the recovery from last year still, since he tried to come back so fast. And then we get to camp here in August or in July, and he's on the NFI list, the non-football injury list. So it's just there's a lot of things that aren't adding up here that don't make me confident. If this is a completely separate injury to the same foot that was injured last year, and I mean, we know we have the infamous injury reports from Joe Mixon of the past where Joe Mixon out with foot, never actually hear what part of the foot, what's going on with the foot, just foot. So kind of having flashbacks of that and not really looking to play that game again. I've always been a Joe Mixon truther, apologist, willing to draft him wherever, but this is the one year where the injuries are really scaring me off. I'm not looking to jump in on a guy that we just don't even know what's going on right now. I talked about it last week, but you got to think that Nick Chubb is going to get the first crack at this. He's the guy that's been in the league the longest. They have Dare Ogunbowale behind him. They also have the rookie Woody Marks that can jump in and help spell Chubb, because I don't think he's going to be the Nick Chubb of pass. He's not going to be a 300 carry type guy. I would love to see it for nostalgia's sake and just because the guy deserves it. But it's just, I don't think he's at that point of his career right now. I don't think the knees can hold up to that. So I think Chubb is going to be the primary, but there's going to be a mixing in of Dare and Woody. And I really think that Woody Marks is becoming more and more interesting, even in terms of seasonal leagues, in terms of redraft. He's should be already working in as a passing down back. And the longer and longer that we have just this murkiness of Joe Mixon and the unclarity of Joe Mixon, it really just kind of makes him one of my late round flyer picks for the sole fact that he's looking like he's going to have a role already, especially if he can go ahead and make some noise in camp here and he can secure that week 1 passing down role. That would be huge for him. And then, I mean, he's got 2 older backs ahead of him in terms of Joe Mixon and Nick Chubb. They're both the same age. They're both have a history of lower body injuries. So I think that Woody Marks is someone that if Mixon comes back, he's not someone I'm looking to draft. If Mixon is back for week 1 or if he comes back for camp, I'm not looking to draft Woody Marks in that situation. but he is definitely someone who is at the very tip top of my radar. He's someone, if I have an extra slot uh, week in, week out to keep a stash on my bench, he is someone that I would look to have regularly, just because if anything happens to Mixon, he's going to have a big role in this offense that I think is going to bounce back. They've been dealing with crazy amounts of injuries for the past year. So I think if they can find any type of consistency and health, they're going to be a powerful offense. We've seen Stroud be able to deliver. Nico Collins is one of the top wide receivers in the league right now, and they have a lot of youth and a lot of big abilities around them. So I'm excited to see the Houston Texans. Obviously want everyone healthy, but for right now, looking like Chubb is going to be the primary zero. If you're going zero RB, the target there late in drafts, because if Mixon does miss time, he'll be the first and second down heavy, like, volume guy. But Marks is very much the interesting name at the very end of drafts that I'm looking to snag for some upside there. Another keeping the divisions together again here, looking over to the Jacksonville Jaguars backfield. A lot of running back talk today, which is always fun, because I feel like I've been talking nonstop about old tight ends and wide receivers. So it's fun to get back into the running back news here. Evan Ringler called it. He said the number one thing to look out for is going to be the running back depth charts once you get past all the injuries. So here in Jacksonville, we got news that Tank Bigsby is looking to be the primary ball carrier for Jacksonville right now. I kind of expected it to be ETN. That was my initial guess going into this season, was they were going to just run ETN into the ground and go ahead and ship him out next year and work on Tank and Bashal and whoever else they bring in. But it looks like that's not going to be the case. It looks like Liam Cohen does like Tank Bigsby as the primary back right now. I'm not very excited still about Tank. Alex, I see, yeah, you got Tank season here, and you're asking if they're trying to trade ETN. I'm sure they are. Will it happen? Will someone pay the draft capital for ETN? I think they would have to kind of showcase him in order to ship him out after the disappointing season last year. And also, it really ultimately comes down to what injuries are going out there. Saber, I see you saying they could ship him out to Houston. Houston, if Mixon does miss, could use another running back. So it's not out of the realm of possibilities. I could see it if this Mixon injury is bigger than what they're leading on, which, I mean, the NFI list leads me to believe, yes, it is. So it's definitely something to keep an eye on. If ETN does get shipped out, it very much makes Tank a floor volume driven type of running back. And at the ADP that he's going at, that's perfectly fine. He's not being drafted as a guy that's going to be this crazy 3-down back with a ton of receptions, and he's not that type of back. So I feel like he's properly situated at his ADP right now. Obviously, ETN gets shipped out, it will go up some, but his volume, expected volume, projected volume will go up with that. So I see that, I get that. As it stands right now, ETN's on the team, and that's who I'm looking to take still at ADP. The Jacksonville O-line scares me, very similar to the Houston O-line scaring me. So I want the grinder on a team that I'm not confident in their offense to begin with, let alone their offensive line? It's not really the bet that I'm looking to make. If ETN does get shipped out, I would absolutely change my mind there. I think Tank would have some more value just because of the fact that he would have everything outside of the passing game sliver that they would give to Bashal and whoever else they would bring in. But right now, buried underneath the Tank news of him being the primary back was that ETN was working more of the 2-minute drill. A lot of the targets in camp right now are headed ETN's way. So I think that's where I want to place my draft pick. And honestly, like if ETN does get traded, I feel like that only does good things for his value. I don't think a team is going to trade for ETN if they don't have a role for him. So I feel like anything is a lateral move at worst, and at best it's going to be an improvement for a situation like Houston where they need someone. Um, it's something that's very Jacksonville is just a very gross backfield for me right now because we have the three guys, we have a bad offensive line, we have a new coaching staff that what's going to happen. So I'm not really big on going after any of these guys, but right now my target is still Travis Etienne out there. I'm just hoping for a good target share and for him to kind of make his money in the passing game. And then, like I said, if he does get traded, I feel like that's just a win for him in general. But ultimately, kind of trying to stay away from that backfield. I like the wide receivers. I like Trevor Lawrence, but really, really kind of scared off of all the running backs as it stands right now. Just taking shots here and there, but not a backfield that I'm tying my name to right now. Gonna go ahead and jumping on down to we got Terry McLaurin has finally reported to camp, but he has gone from a holdout situation to a hold-in situation. And Alex, yeah, I see that De'Ami Brown in Jacksonville is an interesting like best ball target, especially with I know last week I think I saw it was on Friday. BTJ Brian Thomas walked off the field with trainers and he missed the rest of practice. So another interesting injury update there in Jacksonville where we haven't really heard much about the impact of it, but it's just one of those lower body injuries that you don't fully panic off of, but it does open other avenues and kind of open things up. So yeah, I think Strange and De'Ami are interesting deep league guys, but still not someone that I'm really looking to take shots on there. Back to Terry McLaurin, though. As I said, he went from a full holdout, not reporting to camp until he gets his contract signed, and then he comes into camp this week, but he has a ankle injury and is on the PUP right now, so still not practicing, still not working with the team. And reports are right now that there is a huge, vast gap between where McLaurin is and where the Washington Commanders are in terms of a contract. McLaurin wants to get paid. He wants that Garrett Wilson money. He wants number one wide receiver money. And it's just not something that Washington is looking to do right now. I guess it's age. I'm not quite sure. I feel like Washington has the money to where they could front load a contract right now for him with Jaden Daniels being on his rookie deal, but that's far above my pay grade here as as the Wake and Take host. I can only work with the information that I have and how I see it here. I've talked about it every time I brought up Terry and his holdout. I've already been very much off of Terry McLaurin this season. The touchdowns are going to come back down. He had 13 touchdowns last season, the most of his career. I am very much just expecting the regression to hit Terry very hard. The ADP bubbled up very high with the big season. I had a blast with Terry last year on my team, but this year I am staying away at all costs. But what it's kind of done and what I've been looking at is I thought Debo was washed. And I mean, he very may well be, but it looks like he's kind of back. The camp videos are flowing in where it's Debo, and he is right now the team's number one wide receiver until Terry McLaurin's back. It's very much something where I think he brings something to this offense that they didn't have last year. Last year it was Terry McLaurin in the passing game, and then a hodgepodge of guys that were just dumped on them from other teams. Dennis, I see you saying McLaurin's touchdowns aren't going down. They're going up. If anything, he got tackled at the 1 yard line. I get that. I hear that. I felt that as the Terry McLaurin, I felt that as the Terry McLaurin manager last year, but at the same time, there's more target competition with Debo in here. I think Jaden has the opportunity to run more. So it's not really something where, if anything, there's obviously three possibilities. It could go up, it could go down, or it could stay the same. I'm still betting on it coming down. I think that he benefited on being the only target in town, and Debo is there now. We got another year with dusty old Zach Ertz, who is a red zone target. Ben Sinnott has come as another year under his belt. While I love Terry McLaurin, he's not even practicing right now. He's not even getting those reps. And it's a situation that I'm avoiding personally. The ADP like last year was very palatable for Terry, and this year it's gotten to a crazy level, and I'm just not. I'm just out there. Like I said, I'm turning my attention to Debo. It's become my favorite stack in terms of best ball, and even in my seasonal leagues. Once those start going, I'm gonna if I can get my hands on Jaden Daniels, I am 100% looking to add Debo Samuel as my stack later on. Right now, he's going as wide receiver 38, which makes sense. The injury risk is there. He's slowing down. But I don't think they're going to try to use him as the running back anymore. They have running backs in Washington. They have Brian Robinson. They have Austin Eckler. They have Ja'Cory Crockett McCroskey. Good Lord. Couldn't get that one out to save my life. They have guys in that backfield, so they don't need Debo to carry that shoulder that load in the backfield. So I really think he's going to be just a yak monster in Washington when Terry does come back, because I fully expect him to be back with Washington with a contract. I think that Debo is going to just be running those shallow crossers across the middle. I don't think he's going to have a crazy ADOT, but he doesn't need it. Debo, even last year, was still top 15 in yak. He's been top 15, top 10 most years. Number one in his wide receiver 2 season in yak. So he's a type of guy where you still just got to get the ball in his hands and let the man work in space. So I think Terry on the outside and Debo kind of coming across the middle is just going to be the way that this offense is going to run. And we've seen Daniels just kind of showcase that he is a passer. He's not just a runner. He has amazing accuracy. He's not afraid to put the ball where it needs to be. So I think that's perfect for a guy like Debo, who might not have the separation anymore, but he's still going to find space, and he's a smart player who can cut the ball upfield and really add on to the passing upside of Jaden Daniels and his own upside in terms of yak potential. Behind him, there's a lot like it's Terry, it's Debo, and then there's a bunch of young guys and Jags. There's like I said, I talked about it earlier. There's the dusty corpses of Zach Ertz, and even Austin Eckler now is a little bit dusty. So I think they're going to focus on Debo. And then there's I see you guys talk about Luke McCaffrey out there, and there's been talk about at camp. He's been making some plays, but again, there's no Terry at camp. So who else is going to be making plays? There's nobody there to be making plays. So I think it's positive. It's a good drumbeat for Luke McCaffrey. And it's someone that in Dynasty League, I'd love to get him as a throw-in, just because we could see him work in more on 3 wide receiver sets on this team. But he's not someone where in redraft, I'm taking it. I'm looking to take him. And so I'm really trying to just stick at the top, especially when they're at the top of the depth chart, but lower in ADP. Like I said, wide receiver 38 just feels crazy to me. I feel like Debo's got a built-in floor in terms of targets, and just an absolutely absurd upside in terms of the yak ability. I think this is going to be a high-powered offense. I think they are going to score touchdowns. I just think that it's going to be spread out a little bit more than it was last season. So that's why I've been avoiding Terry McLaurin and drafts like in the rabbit draft, in the puppy drafts over on Underdog. I've been looking to my stack has shifted. Anytime that I'm taking Jaden Daniels, I'm no longer trying to flip right back around to the Terry McLaurin pick. I'm pushing a little bit further. I'm going for the Debo Samuel stack. Talking about the rabbit draft, I'm going to go ahead and take a pause here and let the Podfather go ahead and talk to you about the Rabbit for a little bit. They reopened a new grouping of the Rabbit. It's $10 now to jump into a draft. It's a super fun format. I really like the 15 rounds. It goes quick. It lets you get a lot of interesting combinations. And like I said, the stack that I've been hunting there has definitely been the Jaden Debo stack. But let's turn to the Podfather to talk about it some more.
You asked, we delivered a full best ball tournament on FastDraft, but we do it the FastDraft way, and it's called the Rabbit, because of course it is. 20-second time clock, 15 rounds. These drafts, they take 20 minutes. That's it. So you get a lot of new people coming in and playing, get a lot of best ball bros playing, exploitable ADPs, no rake. It is the best EV in all of fantasy. You should just go to fastdraft.app, use code FAST. You get a $50 deposit match. These things are a blast, and it's the best use of your funds in all of fantasy.
Yeah, definitely been loving the Rabbit draft. I've been a fan of the Fast Draft drafts ever since they came out, just because I got two young kids. So the fact that I was in Underdog, I had so many auto picks because of the fact that, like, obviously, like, I'm sitting there and then my daughter will wake up from her nap and I have to run and go take care of that, and rounds 12 through 18 just auto drafted. So the fact that Fast Draft is able to have so many different options now, especially with the Rabbit, it makes it exciting. It makes it fun for me. As you can see on the screen, you could use code JOwensFF over on Fast Draft to get a $50 deposit match. And honestly, it's a lot of fun. I see you guys out there too, Jimmy and Alex, talking about Jalen Lane. I like Jalen Lane's profile. I think that he's a type of guy that maybe as a dynasty stash, I'm willing to go there, but I don't think that this is the year for a guy like Jalen. I think he needs to be developed a bit more. I think he needs to kind of see how his speed translates to the NFL. They still have KJ Osborne, Noah Brown on the roster. So I think that just veteran deference in that system is going to take precedent. So unless he's really able to perform well in camp and make his footprint in camp, I don't think he's anything more than a dynasty stash right now. Obviously, things could change. Injuries happen. Trades happen, cuts happen, a lot of moving pieces involved there. But if anything, Lane is going to be a late season pick up and plug type guy if there's just an absolute onslaught of injuries ahead of him. So not someone that I'm looking for right now, but definitely like the profile and think that he's got some opportunity that could be opening up to work his way in there with an aging guy like Deebo Samuel, with guys like Noah Brown and KJ Osborne who have bounced a little bit in terms of teams. I think that they're definitely there's opportunities starting 2026 and beyond, but not a guy that I'm really actively going out for right now. Another the big story that I really wanted to talk about, and the one that kind of has me really had the wheels turning for me this weekend and this morning in particular, the Darnell Mooney shoulder injury. He went out last week with the shoulder injury on a diving catch. And right now, the word out of Atlanta is a few weeks. Raheem Morris didn't want to commit to even having him ready for week 1, which is right there, big red flag. Like, obviously, similar to the Joe Mixon news, they don't have to really comment in camp. They don't have to give us very much in terms of like severity, and obviously they want to keep it close to the chest because they're trying to figure out what they're going to do in terms of if they need to bring in another guy, if they need to trade for somebody. So it makes sense in terms of us not having the news, but also it's something where I'm very much like, if they're not saying, oh, it's nothing, and they're saying a few weeks, maybe not even committing to week 1, that's just sirens blaring, alarms going off. I'm like, whoa. I love Darnell Mooney, one of my favorite under the radar type wide receivers for this season. But if he's going to be missing time and it's a shoulder injury, which I believe it was, I don't even remember if it was rotator cuff or if that's someone else that I'm thinking of, but shoulder injuries and wide receivers scare me. We've seen it a million times where guys are able to come back, but their production just is nowhere near the same because they just don't have that range of motion to go up and get the ball. Happy up, they did bring in DJ Chark right away. So it's not a good thing when you see a guy go down and they immediately bring in a veteran that's been hopping teams. It's very much it's very much scary for Darnell Mooney drafters right now. But what I do think that this does, while it's terrible for Mooney, I think that this just fully consolidates even more the target share for Drake London and even Bijan Robinson. I think that those two guys are just both going to be absolute smashes, even at their very high ADPs. Like, it's tough to get behind a round 1 and a round 2 guy in an offense that isn't really shown that they're a high octane offense yet. So at first I was a little bit hesitant on Drake London. The target share has always been there, but the production and the big boom, like number 1 guy weeks hadn't really been there. But I think with this now, with the Mooney news, I think I was very much warming up to Drake London already this year. He kind of was at a spot where I'm between him and AJ Brown, and I've been flip-flopping back and forth. But I think with the Darnell Mooney news now, it's Drake London, and I'm pushing him up even higher than that. I'm pushing him up all the way to Brian Thomas level. I think that that's my new waffle decision of, do I take Brian Thomas? Do I take Drake London? Sometimes at the back end of drafts, you can get both those guys, and I love that. But it's definitely something where I think Drake London has wide receiver 1 overall potential this season if Michael Penix can deliver. And yes, it was a small sample size last year. Penix got those 3 full games at the end of the year, weeks 16, 17, 18. So take it with a grain of salt. But in those 3 games, it was London. He was hammering London with targets. Drake London averaged 13 targets per game and 165 air yards per game. So it wasn't just Penix panicking and going, just chucking it to London every chance he could. It was pushing the ball down the field. And I think just a full off season with the clarity that we have now at quarterback, where it's Penix's show. They're looking to ship off Kirk Cousins. I think that it makes me much more confident in London this season. We know what we're expecting out of Atlanta coming in now. Alex, you're asking if I would take Drake towards the end of round 1 in a competitive league. I think it ultimately depends on who is there. Let me take a look here at who's going at the top in that top 12. So I don't think I could push him up into that back end quite yet. In a full PPR league, I would say maybe at the 12-13 turn, he would be like my number 13 pick. But I can't take him over Nico Collins quite yet. I think that Nico we've seen that season out of Nico, and I think that that's just where he is. Yeah, I would agree, Saber. I think that right now he is very much, he goes from a mid second round pick to very high end, like I said, like 13, 14 overall range, where I got him neck and neck with Brian Thomas right now. And honestly, I think I am going to, if you told me right now I have to pick one, Brian Thomas or Drake London this season, I'm taking Drake London. So I think he's, as soon as Neighbors and Nico Collins are gone, he is that very next guy, but he's still just a slight tier below those guys. He's at the very top of that next tier. Yeah. So again, I think that Drake London ultimately is like, he's going to post over 30% target share this season, and I don't have any doubt about it. He was at 29% last year with Mooney. He's going to be up in the low 30s, maybe even mid 30s, and it's going to be insanity. I think this also makes Bijan Robinson an even safer pick in the top of the first round. Like, there's all this uncertainty of what the offense is going to look like, and that's again totally fair. We don't know if this is a high-powered offense or not. We just knew that Bijan is absolutely electric probably one of the best running backs in the game right now, and that he was going to get fed a ton of volume. I think that this helps him because he will have more of a target share now if Mooney misses extended time. And I think he is my official pick for the RB. I think it's crazy, but I think that Bijan is 100% in line to be the RB1 this season. The volume's there, the big playability's there. So as long as this offense can just kind of perform at a average level, I think that Bijan is going to be able to just absolutely deliver the RB1 season we've been waiting on. And we've been seeing it already. The Kyle Pitts hype has been climbing and climbing and climbing. We're starting to see him slowly creep up in ADP, and I don't know how it happens every year. I just don't know how we get here every draft season where everyone the entire time from December to June are just laughing about Kyle Pitts and, oh, how dumb are we for drafting Kyle Pitts? And then here we are once again, July, like, but maybe we should draft Kyle Pitts. And I mean, his ADP keeps falling. So like, yeah, I'm back in on Kyle Pitts. I can't help it. Give me the explosive athlete. I get it. He's been dealing with the injuries. He's not as explosive. He hasn't shown it since his rookie year. But damn it, guys. It's he's what, in the 10th, 11th round? Like, he's still double digits. Like, just give me Kyle Pitts. I hate to say it. If he starts climbing even further because of this Mooney news, if he breaks into round 9, I'm out. I'm done. I don't want it. There's other guys in that range that I would much rather have. There's more upside tight ends further on in the draft that I would rather spend the draft capital on there. I can't. Jamie, I see. Wonder if Jason Alwine is still on Pitts. Come on. We know that answer. But yeah, so honestly, I think that this just consolidates, it consolidates the offense. I think Pitts does get a little bit safer of a floor with this. I don't think he deserves to be drafted outside of the or inside of the top 10 rounds. So like I said, if his ADP climbs there, I'm out. I'm jumping off that train. I will finally take my medicine, tap out, be done on Kyle Pitts. And if it bites me, it bites me. I won't be mad there. Kyle Pitts, Joanne. So yeah, so that's where my mind has been kind of churning. Has been like, I was looking at it this morning and just, I don't know if it was the pre-coffee brain or what it was, but I'm like, I gotta push. I'm just pushing Drake London up. I'm pushing him up. He's well ahead of AJ Brown now. He's just got too much of a safety floor and the ability there that I'm pushing him up over BTJ now. And again, Bijan just it feels like, duh, obviously Bijan's a good pick, but I think that Bijan just like it gives a lot more safety with Mooney potentially missing an extended period of time. Gonna do two more quick hitters before I wrap up here, trying to get all the news over the weekend, and you guys see it on X, on any publication out there. The news just is pouring in. But just wanted to give an update on the New England wide receiver room, how that's kind of shaken out, because I do think that there is value in Stefon Diggs here right now. Obviously, it's Diggs, it's Pop Douglas, and it's Kayshon Boutte have been reported as running the most with the ones. Right now, in terms of draft for just like a regular seasonal league, Diggs is the only one that I am interested in. Standard. In terms of, like I said, standard redraft leagues, especially in a PPR league, he is going to just be a target monster in New England just because of the mishmash, just gross muddling of all the wide receivers out there. He is going to be the one consistent guy that Drake May is going to look for repeatedly. Kyle Williams, I don't know. I do like Kyle Williams. But right now, like I said, Diggs, Douglas, and Boutte are the guys consistently running with the ones. I think Williams is going to work his way into a role over either Douglas or Boutte. But I just don't think that anyone's going to have a meaningful target share outside of Stefon Diggs. So that's really the only guy that I'm looking for. Like I said, the fact that it's Pop and Boutte running with the ones makes me interested in them maybe in terms of best ball and very, very late rounds. So those guys, if I can buy them in Dynasty for cheap, or if I can just, like I said, take them in the last round of my best ball drafts, I'll sprinkle that in if I got a Drake May for a very late stack. But it's the Dig show, and it's going to be that's who I'm looking for. Alex, what about Pop? Pop is a very much target dependent wide receiver, and I think with Diggs there, he has the potential to still have a meaningful role, but I just don't think that it's going to be enough consistently for me to want him on my fantasy team. If I'm taking anyone else outside of Diggs, like I said, I'm probably leaning Boutte or Kyle Williams just because he's the young guy. But right now it's Diggs and nobody else right now. No way that Diggs recovers from the ACL already. I mean, he's out there, he's practicing, everything's saying he's going to be the number one. It's old school Vrabel as his coach. I'm sure he's thrilled. Yeah. I think Vrabel is very much going to be cleaning house in terms of the wide receivers that he did not bring in. Both guys from last season are looking like they're on the outs and just should be dusting off their resume for a new team here. I think Diggs and Pop are going to be the number one and number two in terms of targets. And honestly, Hunter Henry is one of those late round tight ends that I would rather take a shot on in terms of just a very safe floor for best ball. If I just need my 5-6 points, I'll make the gross pick of Hunter Henry, but really Diggs is the only guy that I'm looking for here. And last little bit of news that I have comes out of Pittsburgh. I like coming back to Pittsburgh here as they've been my favorite team to follow this offseason. And I'm not sure if anyone saw the tweet, but Cordarelle Patterson was released and he hit us with the he got fired on his day off tweet. Breaking the news himself that Cordarelle Patterson was let go from the Pittsburgh Steelers on his day off. I don't think this is meaningful in terms of like, we didn't expect Cordarelle Patterson to be doing anything himself, but I do think that this kind of shows that they are very confident in what they have with Jaylen Warren and Kaleb Johnson. They're going to be locked and loaded as the 1A, 1B. I think Kaleb is going to have a significant workload beginning of the season. I don't think it's going to be, he's going to need time to warm up. I think he will get better as the season goes on. Still, he will work his way to a bigger, more touches as the season goes on. But I think that it really makes me more confident in drafting Kaleb in redraft as well. Like he's shown enough to where they're cutting Arthur Smith, one of his darlings. Like they Cordarelle Patterson and Jonnu Smith just following Arthur Smith around team to team, but Arthur gets Jonnu back and he's like going to go ahead and just toss Cordarelle Patterson to the side like he's a used up toy. So I think Kaleb is someone that you can draft with confidence. I think he's a high upside rookie that we look back at and is one of the steals of the draft. There's a ton of them in this in redraft this season. And then if anything does happen with Jaylen Warren or Kaleb Johnson, Kenny Gainwell is locked in as the handcuff right now. It doesn't matter which one of those guys goes down. Gainwell gets slotted in as the 40% workload guy immediately. So he is a deep handcuff stash, someone that if I have him in Dynasty, I'm still kind of holding, just waiting for that moment. And if I'm on a team that needs a running back, I'll hold him and plug him in. And if he's a team where I don't need a running back and I'm trying to rebuild, I'm flipping immediately. As soon as Kenny Gainwell gets in there for 50% snap share, immediately 40% snap share, selling him off for whatever pick I can get there. Let's see here. Saber, could Calvin Austin III be a sneaky 18th round dog? I I honestly, in terms of best ball, Calvin Austin has been the wide receiver that I'm taking at that 18th round slot, where it's very late, but he's that type of best ball player where he has the ability to produce big boom weeks with the deep ball. I love Roman. I'm a Michigan fan, so we always loved Roman, but I'm very hesitant to anoint him as anything right now, especially with Aaron Rodgers as the quarterback. I haven't heard anything other than DK Metcalf out of Aaron Rodgers. So I'm not really looking too hard to go for these ancillary options in Pittsburgh. But if I am going anyone in best ball, it's Calvin Austin very, very late. Hate Michigan, but love Roman Wilson. That's fine. I'll take that. Once they reach the NFL, it does not matter what college they went to in my mind. I close my eyes and pretend that the Ohio State guys didn't go to Ohio State when they're on the Lions. So it's okay. This might be a case of better in real football versus fantasy. 100% believe that. And if anything, that just means that he'll have some good steam going into 2026. Maybe we don't know what Pittsburgh's going to look like in 2026. So I buy in dynasty cheap, but don't hold your breath there. That's all that I got for today, guys. Like I said, Tuesday shows are going to be pretty much all news for the next 2-3 weeks, just because of camp and the amount of news that comes out between Tuesday or between Thursday and Tuesday. It's going to be very, very much heavy on the news. So I appreciate you guys sticking with me here. And on Thursday, I am looking to bring back a segment. So it's not just going to be news again. So it's not just the same type of content that you're seeing on a day-to-day basis. On Thursday, I'm looking to bring you my do not draft list. So please stop on by for that on Thursday. Same time, 10 a.m. Eastern, Tuesdays and Thursdays for the Wake and Take. I appreciate everyone coming out here, joining me live today, as you guys do every week. Sipping on your coffees with me. Appreciate it there. Be sure once again to follow me on X at @JOwens_FF. Follow the player profiler pages. It's at Roto Underworld, at profiler_now, and be sure to follow and subscribe to the YouTube page, so that way you can go ahead and get notifications whenever I go live for Wake and Take, and again for all of the other shows that we have going live on a daily basis in terms of Dynasty, Redraft, Best Ball. We got it all here at Player Profiler. So make sure that you're subscribing, following, got the notifications on, and I will see you all Thursday.
From the Podfather to you, I deeply appreciate you tuning in. And many ask, what can I do? What can I do to help support the hosts, the research they do, the production costs? Go to playerprofiler.com, Dynasty Deluxe, World Famous Draft Kit, Rankings, DFS Dominator, and of course, data analysis. Subscribe to any one of those, and you support all of us and take Player Profiler to the moon.